Now, with all that understood, we have our grand prize question that I promised you last week. How did Joseph get himself and Mary out of this terrible fix? What did they do on their wedding day when you know what they have to do in front of the entire village? Produce the blood-stained sheet, which are the tokens of Mary's physical virginity. They had to do that. Matthew expects you to know they had to do that. But we know the blood on the sheet didn't come from Mary. So what did they have to do?
Kill a chicken.
Maybe get a boat or something like that.
What do you think they did when they had to produce the blood-soaked sheet? What did they do? They lied. They had to lie. They lied. Absolutely had to do it. Otherwise, you have a blood feud. Yes, Lenore.
Mary had not, in fact, had a physical relationship.
No.
Why would, if they continue
why
to
would they
lie,
have to
why
lie?
would they have to lie?
Oh, because by taking her into his home and then claiming Jesus as his own, that's a lie. Joseph is saying, she's not pregnant. I don't care if the whole village knew and I'm the last one to find out, I'm the village idiot, the laughing stock. I say it didn't happen. And I put my honor on that. And then you deny that, and then you deny that. What do I have to do as Joseph? See this machete I have right here? I'm telling you she's not pregnant. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand what I mean? Oh, you agree with me. I'm glad you agree with me.
Is it a sin to lie?
Oh, not in this culture. That's another thing. You might be asking yourself, Joe, wait a minute, Mary can't lie?
Right.
That she couldn't lie without sin. See, Joe is committing ethnocentric fraud on Mary. He's thinking Mary's an American. He's thinking Mary's an American. And he's doing anachronism. See, now we have 2,000 years of development and evolution where we think that lying, we understand sin isn't so much shaming God as it's breaking some rule, right? That's from a deontological approach to the commandments. That doesn't exist in the Bible.
But lying was acceptable.
Right. The commandment is you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, right? Causing shame and thereby causing blood feud in the village. It doesn't say you shall always tell the truth to things. Although later on we evolved it to understand that because we should be truthful. Of course, what happens when the Nazis come for the Jews that are in your basement? This, by the way, this understanding in Catholic thought has really messed up Catholics. Well, I have to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth and kill all the people that are in your basement? Well, I'll take the mortal sin then. It's a mortal sin? God's going to think that's a mortal sin because you lied to save lives? See, we have problems with this. But anyway, that's another story. We're not talking about our culture. That's a problem for another class. This isn't theology alive. This is Bible alive. So here's the deal. I want you to recall that the principal cultural value in this world is honor. Honor means a public claim to worth. It means a public claim to where I fit in the pecking order of the village, and the public's acknowledgement of my claim. Because if I claim too high, I'm a braggart, I'm a fool, I'm a braying ass, and you'll call me out because the public will not accept my claim. That's shaming. That's dishonor. You see? So honor is a public claim to value and the public's acknowledgement of that claim. Everybody's born honorable. That's called ascribed honor. Whatever you're born, whatever that is low or high, you have some honor. Your job in your life is to maintain that ascribed honor, okay, whatever it is. And it's because of this ascribed honor that the first 17 verses of Matthew give Jesus, who is born in dubious, shameful way, a genealogy. And those are the names listed in the genealogy. It was made up after his death, folks, and his resurrection, okay? The genealogy in Matthew doesn't match and cannot match or be reconciled with Jesus' genealogy in the gospel called Luke. Both lists present two different paternal grandfathers. Come on, folks, that does not happen in reality. You know anybody that's got two different paternal grandfathers? Okay, so the whole thing's it's made up, it's manufactured to kind of demonstrate, yeah, it's honorable. I mean, how could he be Messiah and cosmic Lord? We experienced him risen as cosmic Lord and Messiah, But how does a lowlife from Nazareth get to be a cosmic Lord and Messiah? Well, we got to give him an explanation. He died, became famous, so he gets a genealogy, and he gets a childhood too, that shows and demonstrates to the people that he's worthy. That's an honor claim. That's what it's about. It's about honor. See, the Bible's all true, and some of it actually happened. Honor is such an important reality in the Middle Eastern people that you really can do anything to preserve your honor. Anything. And I mean anything. And if I'm Middle Eastern and you get close to me, the first thing I'm going to do is to protect and preserve my honor. First thing I'm going to do that is I'm going to keep secrets about myself and not tell you. And if you start snooping around me and getting a little bit closer, too closer, more close than I think, then I'm going to throw out some deception your way. And if you get even closer, too close for comfort, then I'm going to absolutely lie to you. And by the way, you're not part of my in-group, so I don't owe you the truth. Do I? A lie in this culture that would be sinful would be to have a private self that is different and distinct and different from my group self, not my public self. In this culture, if my private self is different, doesn't correspond with my public self, we say that's a lie. That's a deceptive person. That person's a liar, right? False person. Not in this culture. In this culture, you don't owe the out-group truth. You owe only your in-group truth. And more than that, you owe them honor. Honor is the most important thing. And honor doesn't have to be true. Honor just has to be, it doesn't have to correspond with what you're actually doing. It just has to praise the person and maintain their value in the pecking order of the village. Secrecy, lying, and deception are perfectly acceptable strategies for protecting and preserving honor. One of the context group scholars explains that in the Middle East, if you ask directions from someone, he will tell you the way even if he doesn't know. In the Middle East, almost every question is considered dishonest and an attack. In the Bible, almost every question that gets asked to Jesus is really an attack against Jesus. There are always scribes asking him questions to this dumb Galilean day laborer hick, this Galilean peasant day laborer. You think those are honest questions? They want to know his opinion on the law so they can be educated and thereby admit ignorance and dishonor their family? They're scribes. They're part of the 2% that can read and write. And what's Jesus' immediate response to all of these attacks, these questions? Counterattack, slap across the face, insult them. So say you go up to a Palestinian, you're in the Holy Land, and you're on a trip to Jerusalem. You want to go see the Wailing Wall. And you ask him a question. Do you really think you're going to get an honest answer if he doesn't know? That would dishonor his family. He'd have to kill you. So if you were to ask a Palestinian in Jerusalem, right, excuse me, how do I get to Hakotel Maravi? How can I get to the Wailing Wall? You think if he doesn't know, he's going to, well, I'm sorry, I don't know. No, it's going to be a dishonor. So no, he's going to tell you how to get there, guaranteed, even if he doesn't know. And if he doesn't know how to go there, he's going to save your life by giving you a lie. And if you have a photographic memory and you follow his directions all the way to wherever the hell he's telling you to go to, you're going to get there and go, wow, this isn't the Wailing Wall. What the hell happened? When the father in Jesus' parable says to one of his two sons, go into my vineyard to work, and the boy lies by responding, yeah, father, yes, I will go. But the boy never intended on going, but he wanted to honor his father. Why would he lie to his father? Because he wants to honor him. He's obeying the commandment, honor your father and mother. He therefore tells him what he wants to hear publicly in front of the servants. That Jesus' question wasn't which of the two boys honored his father, it was which of the two boys obeyed his father. Remember that in the Middle East, what you say is far more important than what you do. And this is like the case with the Palestinian, oblivious to the directions to get to the Wailing Wall. I don't want to shame my family, he thinks. I don't want to shame yours. I don't want to get killed, and I don't want to kill you either, so I'm going to lie to you. No one in the village of Joseph and Mary were hoodwinked. They all knew that Mary was pregnant before Joseph took her, and that this was not his child. So will Joseph stand on his rights and say, hey, she deserves to die, stone her? What if Mary's the only female cousin he has? So he's going to be right and be single for the rest of his life? So he chose to lump it and get on with his life. And the alternate state of conscious experience helped him with that, didn't it? According to Matthew. We got to mention that in the Middle East, marriage is not the union of two individuals. Listen to this very carefully. Marriage is not the union of fusion of two individuals in the Middle Eastern world. It's the union of two families, the pooling of honor. In the Middle East, marriage is the fusion of two families, usually 50 to 100 persons each. It's not the fusion of two self-selected individuals who are going to make out, a future love life for themselves in some neo-local place. The purpose of Middle Eastern Mediterranean marriage, which is arranged, by the way, is to enhance both families and their honor. That's why the arranging of the partners is so crucially important, and that's why you are better off strengthening your family with patrilateral first cousin partners. And if you want to get married and you live in Nazareth, you don't get married to somebody in Magdala. Okay, Dan Brown. All of this helps explain why Jesus is against divorce. Jesus, a Middle Eastern male, is not concerned about the sensitive feeling of the partners. He's not concerned about the children's feelings. But if you tear two families apart in the Middle Eastern world, you instigate blood feud. Feud in this agonistic culture will easily escalate into violence. Violence escalates into bloodshed. When you have blood feud in the Middle East, it's game over. So for Jesus, it's no divorce. You stay married, you lump it. That's how it goes. And it all has to do with honor. That's a very different world than ours, isn't it? Again, we go back to the bishops in their 1987 warning. Do not look for all the direct answers in human living in the Bible, because they can't be found there. Man, when fundamentalist Catholics get a hold of the Bible, watch out. You got a mess on your hands. A real mess. Okay, now, you might be thinking, what happens when there's a rape situation in the Bible, right? Or in the Middle Eastern world? Well, in the case of rape, the rapist is more than likely going to get killed if you can catch him. And of course, the rape victim is going to be killed, because she's a stain of honor on the family. It shows that the males in the house cannot defend her. They can't defend their woman. And because they can't defend their woman, nobody will trade with them. Nobody will work with them. They will quickly become refugees and they will die. So they think they're saving their family by killing her. But there is one way you could save a man from these dire consequences. You can declare him crazy. But if you declare the rapist crazy, then you might as well kill him, because it would be really a fate just as bad as that. You're going to have to keep him indoors. You're going to have to watch him all the time. Consider that early in Mark's gospel, Mark chapter 3, verses 20 to 22, with most of the gospel narrative yet to come. So that's very early in the story, Mark chapter 3. Okay, chapters and chapters and chapters of story left, right? Jesus, already in this story early on, so irritates the scribes and the Pharisees that they conspire to kill him. It explicitly says that. And continuing, it explains that his family thought he was crazy, right? Because these people want to kill him, so Jesus' family wants to save him life. So what they're trying to do is declare him crazy. See? Put him indoors, tie him up, put him inside. All right. Then what happens next is he's teaching in a crowded room and his mother and his brother show up. Okay? Yeah. Now this is the Middle East. Jesus is supposed to say, "Oh, my mom's here. Time out. Okay, I got to stop teaching. My mom's here. I got to go talk to her. I'll be right back." Remember that the closest emotional bond in the Middle East is between mother and firstborn son. It's so close that in Western culture we would call that codependent personality disorder. Okay? In the Middle East it's also pretty stifling. But anyway. So what does Jesus, the dutiful Middle Eastern son, do in Mark chapter 3, right? Does he say, "Time out, my mother's here. I got to go see my mom"? Is that what he says? No, he goes, "Who's my mother? Who are my brothers?" Hey, dude, that sounds idiotic, man. They're trying to save your life. What are you doing? You're crazy. What kind of gratitude is this? "Oh, who is my mother? Who is my brother?" That's Jesus. And the story never even tells us whether he actually got out to see, Mary. Is it any wonder that Jesus ended up like, the Jesus we usually depict from devotional images and nice sentimental things with our warm, fuzzy, Care Bear feelings, the Romans would laugh at that Jesus. They would never crucify him. But if you really get the Jesus that's culturally plausible, you don't ever have to worry about why he was crucified. He pissed a lot of people off.